What's up, everybody? Dan here with another Codex review for the Codex Station. Today, I'll be reviewing the 5-issue series Avengers Inc. that was published by Marvel Comics between September 2023 and January 2024. It was written by Al Ewing, with art by Leonard Kirk, colors by Alex Sinclair, letters by VC's Corey Petit, and had covers by a lot of different artists, but the main covers were done by Daniel Acuna. So in this story, it starts out with the Wasp being called to the raft to help solve the murder of one of her main foes, Whirlwind. Now, there are multiple villains in the raft that are being killed off by being shot in the head, but it's a mystery as to how it's happening because there's no bullets left behind. There is no security footage in the raft. There's no evidence they can find to how it happened other than they got shot in the head and they die. But Whirlwind actually comes back to life and starts calling himself Victor Shade. He carries himself different. He acts different. He has the little kind of jewel on his head. For anyone that doesn't know, Victor Shade was at one point the human alias that the Vision used when he would go out into the world to try and be a part of humanity. Shade also uses the powers that Whirlwind had in a different way to kind of mimic some of the powers that the Vision had, or Vision has. And all of these other villains that were killed, then also they suddenly come back to life and escape the raft, but they don't take on different identities like this character does. So Luke Cage, who is now currently mayor of New York in Marvel Comics, tasks the Scarlet Witch with solving this case, and she says she wants this guy Victor Shade to stick with her and help her with this because she wants to figure out what the deal with him is. But because superheroes are currently outlawed in New York, they have to do this with no costumes. So they end up essentially not being superheroes, but working on this case as well as other ones, essentially become a two-person detective agency. Now in this series, Hank Pym, who was thought to be dead, comes back. Ultron gets involved with this. There is a lot of these B and C and D level villains that are involved in this. There's multiple guest stars, essentially a new one just about in every issue. There's Valkyrie, there's Vision, there's Moon Knight. And the one thing that I really liked about this book, it was a really cool, it was a great noir style detective story, but with superpowers. And it was a fresh take on the Avengers that we haven't seen before, which, considering they've been around for over 60 years, that's a pretty impressive thing to still find something new. The artwork goes really nicely with the writing. It's got some good intrigue. As you're reading it, you're wondering, all right, who is this guy Victor Shade? Is this Whirlwind trying to pull one over? Is this some new person entirely? If he is, where did he come from? What's kind of the deal with him? What's going on with all these villains? Hank Pym is back. How is he involved in all this? There's just so much going on. The only thing I really didn't like about it is that it was canceled after 5 issues, because this was not intended to be a 5-issue miniseries. This was launched with the intention of it being an ongoing series, but unfortunately the sales to start out weren't great, and Marvel decided not to give it enough time to grow and find an audience, so they just canceled it right off. So they found a way to wrap the story up after the 5th issue. And I feel like, I'm not certain, but I feel like the story would have gone on longer than that and had them investigating more side cases as they worked on this one as well. But since, Marvel decreed that 5 issues and it's done, they just kind of had to wrap the story up, which is unfortunate because this was a really cool book. And, hopefully, the way that the story ends, it ends in a way that wraps up this story, but has the potential for more of this type of thing with these characters going forward. So hopefully when the trade collection of this comes out, that a lot of people buy it, and maybe Marvel revisits this in some other form. I doubt that they'll bring this series back, but hopefully they'll revisit it in some other way, because this was a really cool, like I said, a fresh take on the Avengers, and it's a good way to put a spotlight on a lot of lower tier Avengers that aren't appearing in the main book, and you can have them different characters guest star in here and there throughout it, and have all these good detective stories. I think it would be really fun. So overall, I would rate this a 9 out of 10. I highly recommend it. Really, the only reason I rated it like that is because, like I said, they canceled it after 5 issues, and I feel like that this story could have, gone longer. While it doesn't necessarily feel rushed, I felt like it could have gone on longer, and it just didn't have the opportunity to. So I've been Dan with the Codex Station. You can find me on Instagram. Just search for Dan Kelly Art, and you'll find me. Go ahead, give me a follow, and make sure to check us out online at thecodexstation.com. You can meet the team. You can get some merch. You can find links to all of our different socials. Give us a follow. Give us some likes. Subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you by the spinner rack.